Well, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your Duke of Dope Discourse, your master of fun and wonder, your viceroy of verisimilitude, and as John Campea calls me, your existential Mr. Rogers. That's right, Robert Meyer Burnett, and this is the John Campea Show Mailbag for Friday, July 29th, 2022. And as you know, during the John Campea Show every day between 10:30 and 12:30, we open up the Super Chats for a very brief moment, and you fire in those questions so we can ask them or answer them or however you want to do it. We answer them live on the show. But you might have a thought, a question, a recommendation, or just criticism. Anytime, 7 days a week, day or night. And if you do, go to that link right there and you can send us those thoughts into the mailbag, and I will answer them here. Maybe Ray will answer them one day. John and I might do it together, or maybe Chris Carr and I will one day tag team on the mailbag. But that day is not today. Today is just me. And we're going to see what you have all to say. So make it good. Jonathan Namella, one of the great supporters of this channel, says, hello, John and Rob. I think Bringing on the Filthy could be a good name for a show. Wow. You're Bring on the Filthy, John. Dream come true. John rocks. Bring on the Filthy. Well, Jonathan, I'd say you rock. John rocks as well. I don't know what a show called Bring on the Filthy would be like. I know what I like in my mind, but I don't know if we could do that on YouTube as a show for a family audience. But I like how you think. Bringing on the Filthy. Imagine, maybe if you could send us some show ideas, what would a show called Bringing on the Filthy be like? And make them good. So, Felipe Rodriguez says, Rob, on today's show, John made a list of who he thinks are the Avengers for the next movies. My favorite Avenger is Scarlet Witch. He said she's done. Do you think we won't see her anymore in the MCU? Oh, I think we're going to absolutely see Scarlet Witch, but I think she's going to be a villain, at least for the time being. I mean, she's around the bend, psychotic craziness. If you've ever read the Avengers disassembled storyline in the actual comics, which I quite enjoyed, she kills some of the Avengers. I mean, she goes crazy, and the entire House of M storyline is brought about because of her. And I got to tell you, I love Elizabeth Olsen. I think she's a great actress. I think she's a beautiful woman, and I love her portrayal of Scarlet Witch. So I think that we will see her again because she's, I think, vital to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but I don't think she's going to be an Avenger. Doctor Strange will not allow her to be put on the lunchbox anymore, if you know what I'm saying. And I think you do. What is a Filthy? Says, hi, John. Do you think that the Avengers cast from the pool you devised will be split between the two movies? They could take place simultaneously. Is this why they're released back to back? Feige is bold, a madman. We need Campia Crew hot toys. Thanks. I do think we need Campia Crew hot toys. I don't know if Hot Toys would ever make them. I know some people are making, or they've made toys of us in the past. And S-Beam, our friend S-Beam, friend of this show, friend of my shows, he's making a hot toy of me. I don't have it yet. He needs to see my leather jacket. But in terms of the Avengers, look, I think the Kang Dynasty storyline, at least in the comics, is huge. It's massive. And it's going to involve multiple teams of Avengers, both on the Earth and in space. It's crazy. If it's even half of what's in that, I think it's Avengers like 41 to 55 plus the 2001 annual, if memory serves, is the Kang Dynasty storyline. I think it's monstrous. And I think when it's over, I think all of the Avengers are going to be snapped to Battle World or whatever. I don't know if they're going to use the Beyonder or not, but I don't think they're going to split the teams up, because they might split the teams up within the Kang Dynasty storyline or whatever teams are going to have, because that's what actually happens. There's different factions of Avengers going to do different things because the story is so big. But I think one movie is going to lead directly into the other. It's not going to be so definitive like it was when Thanos snapped his fingers. I think it's going to be more of, it's an immediate, whatever happens at the end of the Kang Dynasty storyline, the Secret Wars storyline is going to pick up almost immediately. That's just a theory. So you never know. Great Grapthaw's Hammer. Nice Galaxy Quest reference. Says, Rob, your idea exploring the evolution of home entertainment fascinates me. From the advent of TV to the format wars of analog tapes and HD physical formats and everything in between would be so fascinating. Sign me up for that Kickstarter campaign. Well, great Grapthaw's Hammer. I appreciate that. What I find most interesting about the home video revolution, specifically about movies and being able to record things off broadcast television, when TV really came of age or was first really started to grow in the 50s, TV was appointment television. If you didn't catch it when it was broadcast, you didn't see it until it was repeated or it went into strip syndication. Star Trek didn't become as popular as it was until 1972 when it went into syndication all around the country. One of the great things about the home video revolution, especially for me as a kid, was being able to get movies and watch them over and over and over again. I mean, when The Wizard of Oz would play once a year on CBS, and it was kind of an event, the whole family would gather around and you'd watch it. Or when a James Bond movie played on TV, everybody at school, all the kids would be in the playground talking about their favorite parts. But then when you were able to pick and choose your own movies, it suddenly allowed someone like myself to study film. You could rent a tape or have it for a long time, watch it over and over again. So it really changed the whole mindset of how we looked at entertainment, because suddenly you could curate your own film festivals. Or nowadays when they started releasing, I mean, television seasons were not released on a season-by-season basis until kind of like the late 90s and early aughts. Especially, they really got popular with DVDs because, you know, when you had a whole season of television, 26 hours or something on tape was really unruly. So DVDs made it possible where you could get TV seasons, and we started thinking them as season 1, season 2, season 3. I mean, before the 90s, no one ever really talked about that because it wasn't, you had no way really to catalog it. So I would love to do this, and if you're going to join my Kickstarter, maybe I should put one up, because I would love to do the history of home entertainment in the home video era, really. So I'm glad you support the idea. Thank you for that. Anonymous says, Rob, the Macross love continues to flow. Otakon have a Macross panel this Saturday, as well as the Western debut of Macross 7, my holy grail of the franchise. What's more badass than a rock star who pilots his own Valkyrie with a guitar while singing tunes? Well, I would say the Doof Warrior in Fury Road. But so for those of you who out there who don't know what we're talking about, Macross, or as we might know it here in the States, Robotech, although the original Robotech was 3 different Japanese shows. It was Macross, it was Southern Cross, and it was Genesis Climber Mospeada, all put together as Robotech. But Macross is the original show, and it's been going for a long period of time. Macross 7, which I've actually never seen. That sounds badass to me. I have a 1/20th scale model of a Roy Fokker Strike Valkyrie, and it's huge. And one day I'm gonna buy it. I have kind of a fetish. I mean, I already bought it. One day I'm gonna build it. I have a fetish for Valkyries. I love them in 1/48 scale, 1/60th scale, and 1/72nd scale. I love them when they're transformable. Toynami did some great Valkyrie toys from Macross. Huge Macross fan. I did not know this was happening this weekend. Is this happening in Southern California? Is it somewhere I can go or not? But I want to thank you for writing in and sharing the Macross love. Do you remember Love? That was a good Macross movie. So thanks for that. Johnny says, theory, Nakia and T'Challa's child will become Kang. What better way to end Phase 4 than the birth of the big bad? In Loki, he said he was a scientist, likely learning everything from his aunt Shuri. Thoughts? I kind of like that. I mean, I don't know if that's what they're going to do, but it makes sense. I mean, that's a very interesting idea. But I guess, I mean, if you know what, it could happen. It could happen because Kang does have relatives in the Marvel universe. I like that idea, though. I don't hate that idea, and it would be very, very interesting. So we shall see come November. I don't know. I like it. Jeff Solomon sends a tip in and says, just the tip. I see what you did there. That doesn't work anymore. It doesn't work. It used to work when I was in high school, but that was a long time ago. Doesn't work anymore. But thank you. Ray, whatever I can elicit a laugh from Ray.
Who you tipping in high school?
Whoever I could. Garden Variety Vagabond. Garden Variety Vagabond says, to clarify on the statement that nuclear tests need to happen anyway, that was what I said. The last test was September 23rd, 1992, which was the last test series cut off by the negotiation of the Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty. Well, everybody wants to end those treaties. And after all, I mean, if it's Christopher Nolan and he goes to the government, he's like, come on, let's just blow up one nuclear weapon. And he'll say he'll want it to be authentic. So it'll be like the smallest nuclear weapon detonated. I mean, now we've got like 100 megaton weapons. He only wants like 1 megaton, like Fat Man or Little Boy. Who's going to know? Who's going to know? Of course, everyone who sees the movie would know. But yeah, I was being facetious. I don't think they ever would. As you accurately point out, there's a test ban treaty. And if they do test things, they'd probably be underground anyway. So I'm sure he will use visual effects in Oppenheimer, but it'd be kind of cool if he didn't, though. I think that'd be awesome. Of course, they won't do it. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna get this name wrong. And Callaghan the Black says, hi. I'm waiting for my Harley Quinn hyper-real statue from JND Studios to arrive. Rob, do you know this company? I do, and they are incredible. We're talking about silicone skin, rooted hair, glass eyes, and porcelain dentures in 1/3 scale. Kojin, who's a hot toy sculptor, works there nowadays. Those JND Studios, they're incredible. They're a little creepy. They're so realistic, and I'm sure the Harley Quinn looks amazing. The female figures they do are just astonishing. They do creep me out a bit. They're in 3rd scale. But like you said, I'm sure you're going to love that piece because I'll bet it looks absolutely fantastic. I've always wondered, when you buy the female characters, do you have to do their hair every couple of weeks so it doesn't get unruly? And what product do you use on their statues? I'd like to know. I mean, my girlfriend Elizabeth actually studied at Vidal Sassoon, so if I get one of those 3rd scale busts, I can always have her do the hair, which, is a benefit for me as a collector. So thank you for that. Send us a picture when it comes in. Set it up and send us a picture in your collection. I'd love to see what it looks like. Calvin Bose, our friend Calvin, all the way up in the Pacific Northwest. Comic-Con should be in Las Vegas. I took my son to Las Vegas last year to the 55-year Mission Convention, and we got into every event we wanted. I know Braxton would have had a meltdown had he not been able to see William Shatner. By the way, for those of you who might not know, Calvin and his son Braxton got some great footage with him talking to William Shatner at the 55-year Mission Convention in Vegas. It was totes adorbs. Calvin, I think there's a good argument to be made for Las Vegas. The only thing that I would say, and John's points about Las Vegas are absolutely correct. He was right on 100% of those points that he was making. My only problem is that Las Vegas is kind of this generic convention town where San Diego is such a specific kind of a place. But I really think it's getting to the point where San Diego, I think they've got a contract through 2024. I wouldn't be surprised if it moves out of San Diego. I really wouldn't. And I think that if it was in Vegas, people that are scared to go or that it's been too hard to go or it's too expensive to go might come to Vegas because they'd pay less money. Who knows? Calvin Bose goes on to say, I would never take my kids to Comic-Con. I would not want the stress of telling my kid, we can't get into a panel that he was looking forward to. That's a great point, and that happens all the time. And you're right. The thing about Comic-Con is it should be family friendly. And you should be able to take kids there. They should be able to go into those convention panels. And there should never be a time when a parent has to tell a child, you can't go see a panel. And it didn't used to be that way. When I first started going to Comic-Con and all through the 90s, one of the great things is I used to love drifting in and out of panels. I just go catch a little bit of this one, a little bit of that one, especially when they're at the same time. You could go see your favorite TV stars talk about their shows, or I could go hear a great writer or showrunner or an author or a comic book creator. And now even those panels are packed full. They're not, you can't just drift into panels anymore. And it kind of is it feels more formal, and it's not as fun. And in Vegas, it might be more fun. So, yeah. Anonymous says, I think Zaslav hired Horn mainly to get Christopher Nolan back. Ooh, you know what? We didn't talk about that. I actually was thinking about that yesterday after the show was over. That is a very good point. Alan Horn probably has a great relationship with Christopher Nolan, and that is probably part of what is there. I don't think that David Zaslav brought Horn back to do any one thing, but all of these things were probably part of his plan. Feige would be nice, but they'd want more than just box office. Nolan brings prestige and more to a studio. They know they screwed up and want him to come back home. Well, listen, Warner Brothers, more than any other studio, I mean, obviously Spielberg was based at Universal at Amblin for a long period of time. But Warner Brothers is a studio that always had long-standing relationships with filmmakers. Richard Donner was there for decades on the Warner lot. Clint Eastwood is still there. He's been there, I think, for 50 years. Malpaso has had their offices on the Warner lot. Producer Joel Silver was on the Warner lot for a long time, and they have a lot of ongoing. Stanley Kubrick was exclusively with Warner Brothers through the. From 1971 or 1970 through his death in 1997. And so that wouldn't surprise me that Zaslav would absolutely want to have those relationships put back. Totally agree with you. Joshua Flores says, hello, John Campea's crew, the Batman Beyond crew today. First thing is, thanks for everything you guys do. Truly love this show. My question is, do you think we will ever see Spider-Man team up with the Fantastic Four in a movie, just with Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four? Thanks for bringing on the filthy. Joshua, I don't know if that would happen, but it could. I mean, they're both obviously New York-based superheroes, but the thing now with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I think it would be hard just to do that, but you never know. I mean, what would you call that movie? I don't know. It'd have to be like a Spider-Man movie or a Fantastic Four movie, and then the other character or the other characters would come in. But I think it's a possibility. I wouldn't put anything out of the realm of possibility after Spider-Man No Way Home happened. So you never know. I mean, it would certainly hark back to the comic books. So I would like to see it. I think it'd be cool. Stun gun yourself. One of two says, hey, yo, we've all been wondering how Marvel is going to bring the Fantastic Four and X-Men into the MCU, and I have a feeling they'll be introed in separate universes, but then get pulled into Secret Wars, and by the end, some kind of reset needs to happen to the timeline to save the universe and send everyone back home. We're brought back to the 616 universe where everything seems normal, but then we find out that mutants, the Fantastic Four, and everything involving them are now part of this world because of the reset. And end scene. I don't think that's a bad idea, but here's the thing. I really don't think they're going to use the multiverse to bring all these characters together, because there's this insinuation, and this is kind of a weird thing to say, but like with Multiverse of Madness, they introduced these characters like they introduced Reed Richards, they introduced Xavier, Captain Marvel, Captain Carter, and because they were dispatched so easily, I felt, and this is maybe just me, that the importance of these characters was somewhat diminished. And I think that, and maybe this isn't true, but if we brought major Marvel players, the X-Men and the Fantastic Four, to the main Marvel Cinematic Universe from the multiverse, I would feel that they weren't entirely authentic. Does that make any sense? You know what I mean? Like I think that they have to come from our universe in order to be legit. Now, this could just be me. I mean, obviously, this is the multiverse saga, And like you hark back to, back in the 80s when Crisis on Infinite Earths came out and Secret Wars came out. With Crisis on Infinite Earths, they took the DC multiverse and compacted it down into one Earth. And they had the Justice Society coexisting with the Justice League. And there was just, it never felt, it was cool, but I liked the multiverse. I liked the multiple Earths. I liked the fact that the Justice Society was decades behind our Justice League. And I just think that they have to keep the characters they all have to be from 616. But that said, it is the multiverse saga and it would solve a number of problems. So I don't know. Right now I'm still thinking it could go either way in terms of what they're going to do. But for me personally, I'd kind of want to, I need that authenticity. I don't want the X-Men to come from some other universe. But that's just me. And now, guess what? If you dislike eating vegetables as much as I do, there's a solution. And you can hear all about that solution from the sponsor of this mailbag, Athletic Greens.
Hey guys, we want to take a second to thank the sponsor of this video, Athletic Greens. Now, when you get really busy, and you guys know that Ann and I are really busy, one of the first things you sacrifice is eating healthy. And I simply have never eaten enough vegetables in my diet, I admit it. So for a long time, I've been looking for a really good all-in-one supplement that helps me get those nutrients and vitamins that my body needs. And thank goodness I found Athletic Greens AG1. So what is Athletic Greens AG1? Well, with one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, and probiotics to help you start your day right. And for me and Ann, it's easy. We get up in the morning, we pour a big glass of water and add one scoop of AG1. So many people today are taking some kind of multivitamin, and it's important to choose one with high quality ingredients that your body will actually absorb. And it's cheaper than getting all those different supplements yourself. And on top of giving you all those vitamins and nutrients, it also supports better sleep and quality of recovery and supports mental clarity and alertness. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/mailbag. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/mailbag to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
And thank you to our sponsor, Athletic Greens, for this episode of the Mailbag. H Squared says, how is Stewart's Professor X in Multiverse of Madness when the most recent Fox Professor X was McAvoy? Doesn't that tell us that even if there are contracts until 2025, that it's not as clear as we're hearing? In my opinion, the rumor sounds like McAvoy would only be allowed to be used. Listen, we obviously don't know the ins and outs of actual contracts that were signed by the actors, but I would assume, knowing what I know about how Hollywood works, that Patrick Stewart was no longer under any kind of contract. And when they went to him and asked him to be in the movie, he could do whatever he wanted to. And of course, we don't know where in the timeline things were at. So I think you're being a little too literal about this, because timelines are different, universes are different. But in terms of actual, I think that it doesn't surprise me that there would be X-Men contracts that still existed up through 2025. Now, they would even have, if that's true, they would have to pay off actors, or there would be other concerns. They probably are just like, if this is true, that let's just wait, let the contracts run out, then there's no problem. Because with the amount of money these movies cost, to be paying off actors to not make films is, not good. Not good at all. So I would say that that's probably, again, I don't know if it's true or not, but they wouldn't have to use McAvoy necessarily. Shook Nasty. Shook Nasty's here. I love saying that. Shook Nasty. Way back in the 2017s, SpiderMan Homecoming, the old Avengers Tower, was sold. Do you think it might still be the new Baxter building, or does the MCU want us to forget about it? I don't think they want us to forget, and I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out to be owned by Oscorp, or it's the Baxter building, or whatever. I think that they will return to that. I don't think they've forgotten it. because one day we're going to see what has happened. Because you know what? The MCU does not forget, even though they apparently forgot there's a giant celestial sticking out of the Indian Ocean. And Arishem the judge came and stood before everybody. They all looked up in the sky, and no one seems to say anything about it. But the Baxter building, it's coming. It's coming. Nicholas Priera says, hi, I was thinking about the Feige joins DC thing. Would he even be interested? Does he have the same passion and knowledge for both universes? If not, would it really be a good idea for him to oversee DC films just because he's Kevin Feige? Because when people think of Feige at DC, they imagine that he'd offer us a shared universe with Superman and Batman as leaders for the next 20 years. But his interest in this universe is perhaps too superficial to build something of this magnitude. Well, Nicholas, that's a very good question. And I look at it this way. I don't think if they were able to lure Feige to Warner Brothers, that he would even be interested in taking a crack at building another cinematic universe. I think he would be interested in making the ultimate Superman film, or I think he would be interested in making, because he already knows what he would want to do, but he doesn't want to build another cinematic universe. I think what he'd like to do is branch out. And he probably has some passion projects. I bet he controls even an IP that we don't know anything about that he would like to turn into a film. And I think the attraction of Feige coming to a studio like Warner Brothers is that he has the entirety of the studio behind him. And he's not locked into either making Marvel movies or superhero movies or even Star Wars. He can do anything because he's already proven himself in the superhero realm. I mean, my God, if you include the time he started on XMen 1 in 2000. He's been working on superhero movies for, I bet he won't leave until even say 2025. Maybe, just maybe, the last things he's going to do is Phase 6. I think he exits after Avengers, the Kang Dynasty, and Secret Wars, and he's going out. And then he will move to Warner Brothers after 25 years working on Marvel movies and new pastures. He's going to do something totally different, totally new, built from scratch, and he's got the resources of an entire studio behind him. That's an attractive thing, I think, for a guy like Kevin Feige. So that's only 2.5 years away. So that's what I think is going to happen. I could be wrong. Then again, I could be right. Nerdy Super says, hi, John and team. Now that we know that the Fantastic Four movie is not an origin movie, do you think that we will get a Disney Plus animated show that will show their origin story like Spider-Man freshman year? Keep up the great work. Love you guys since 2012. Well, 2012 was the year, of course, that John Cusack saved very few people when the world was destroyed in Roland Emmerich's 2012. Oh, wait, what does that have to do with anything? It doesn't. But thanks for watching the show for now a decade. I'm sure John appreciates that, and very cool. But that's a good question. They could go back and have a Fantastic Four origin cartoon. I don't think an animated series. I don't think that's a bad idea. But, I would love to see, I love the John Byrne run of Fantastic Four, or even Jonathan Hickman's run on Fantastic Four. Great, great, great runs. And I would love to see some of those stories turned into an ongoing series. If they're not going to adapt them for the movies, I think that'd make a great animated series. Because once you tell their origin story, I guess you could see the early days of the Fantastic Four. Here's the thing. If they do come out of the 60s, or they do bring the Fantastic Four forward from the quantum realm or something, then that makes sense. What did the Fantastic Four do in the 60s? Look, I'm a big fan of, if somebody has a great idea on how to do an origin story or do an animated show and make it really interesting, bring it on. I think it's a good idea. So I'd watch it. Why not? Dr. J says, I am fascinated by what the two unnamed projects between the Kang Dynasty and Avengers Secret Wars could be at the end of Phase 6. The stakes will be massive by then, And I wonder how pivotal these shows will be. Probably pretty pivotal. I would imagine that we are seeing, like, they've called it the multiverse saga. And clearly the multiverse saga will end at the end of Secret Wars. The universe will be reset. How it will be reset, I don't know. But I think that will be the end. So I agree with you. There's going to be some shenanigans happening, and Kang will play a part in all of this. And I would expect that we are going to see some different eras in the Marvel Cinematic Universe represented. Jumping around in history, it would be really interesting. I mean, you could do a Wolverine show set in the 1800s. One of the great things, even though it's a shitty movie, X-Men Origins Wolverine, I love the first 20 minutes where you saw Sabretooth and Wolverine sort of grow up and how they went through all the different wars throughout history. I mean, imagine doing like the First Avenger, Captain America, the First Avenger, but with Wolverine, but it wouldn't just be set in World War II. You'd go back even further. I think that could be dope. So I think we're going to see, we're going to delve much deeper into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We're going to go deep with those shows, and really they're going to have to set up the Kang Dynasty, which means, I mean, heck, who knows? You might even see Ramatep or En Sabah Nur in ancient Egypt, a mutant show set in ancient Egypt with Khonshu and Amet. That would be some crazy shit. I'd watch it. Whatever's going to happen, it's going to be shenanigans all over the place. So it'll be, I think, fun. Mahmoud Shahin, I think it's Shahin, right? What a cool name. Mahmoud Shahin. Hello, John. I just watched Deadpool for the first time on Thursday and enjoyed it a lot. For my question, with the recent addition of R-rated content onto Disney Plus, will we see Disney merge Hulu and Disney Plus into one service in the near future? Have a great day. Well, Hulu is not around the world. And I think probably so. We've talked a lot about on the show how Hulu will probably go away and be absorbed by Disney Plus. I can see that happening. Now it's a part of their bundles, but I think it's kind of redundant unless they really don't want to incorporate all adult content. And when I say adult content, obviously I don't mean, Pornhub. I mean adult content, meaning R-rated material, more mainstream TV, that kind of thing. Maybe they want to do that domestically because, we as Americans, we're less mature than the rest of the world, so we only think Disney can have funny animals and Marvel and Star Wars. But I think that we might see Hulu get absorbed by Disney Plus. I think. That's what I think will happen. William Reicher. Love it. William Reicher says, the Campia Show comes on while I'm still at work. I listen to the show the rest of my shift, driving home, and when I get home, I turn it on in my living room and finish the show. Then when it goes off, I restart it and watch what I couldn't see at work. Well, William Reicher, when I hear your name, I just assume that you are, in fact, working on the Starship Enterprise. So, one, it's really cool that the John Campea Show is still watched in the 23rd century. And two, you don't have much of a commute. You just have to walk to your quarters. So that's pretty good, too. I'm glad. Thanks for watching the show. I'm glad we keep you company during your work day. And even better, I'm glad to see that you are, in fact, a Star Trek fan. But if you're actually the real William Reicher from the multiverse, man, I'd love to talk to you about what it's like to work on the Enterprise every day. So thank you for writing in. Thanks for the support. And thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Ryan, one of two. Hi, John and crew. As a lifelong San Diegan, and I want to thank you for your kind words about my city. Your love for my city is clear, but when you talk about moving Comic-Con to Vegas, it's kind of like getting a text from an ex-wife. Number two. They say they will always miss and care about you. Meanwhile, they've already moved on to somebody richer and better at bringing the filthy than you are. For some strange reason, the nice words and sentiments just don't make me feel any better. Weird. Well, Ryan, first of all, we don't want to make you feel like your ex-wife would when she's found someone that brings the filthy better than you do. Because, Ryan, it's not the filthy bringing. It's the fact that somebody was probably more sensitive and listened to her more than you did. And she's wrong anyway. She was too needy. You're better off without her. So don't worry about that. As far as San Diego goes, look, I totally feel your pain. I don't want Comic-Con to leave San Diego. But the fact is, as John pointed out, it has become, the convention itself has become less fun than it used to be. And as more people have come, as more people have become imagination connoisseurs, as more families are coming to Comic-Con, it's, as we heard from our friend Calvin Bowes a little earlier, how would you like to be a father who has to tell his daughter or his son that they can't go see their favorite TV show panel because it's already too full? And when that's happening, and it happens a lot now, it kind of makes the whole enterprise sort of a bummer. So I think ultimately, while I'm with you, things change, life moves on, and we'll always have Comic-Con. So whatever happens, it doesn't mean San Diego is a less cool place, because San Diego is always a lot of fun. I've never not had a great time there. I've never had a bad time there, and I dearly love the city. It's beautiful. You've got the zoo. You've got Balboa Park. You've got the waterfront. You've got the military. You've got the Hotel Del Coronado and that great Mother's Day lunch or brunch. It's great stuff. So we'll always love San Diego, even if you're abandoned by Comic-Con. Michael Jones says, just wanted to say thank you for putting the live chat up so early this week. It was great. I hope it continues. Well, I don't know, Ray. I don't know, Jonathan. Are we going to keep the live chat going up early?
It just kind of depends on content. And
Depends on content.
How news breaks. We're just riding the tide.
They're riding the tide, as they say. Well, you know what? I'm glad you enjoy it. I mean, quite frankly, one of the great things about this channel is our community. And what is so great is that we do have a very interactive, very lively live chat. It's one of the great things about the show. And of course, who gets to spend time in the live chat with you? None other than Ray Ora, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think about the live chat, Ray? Do you like being in the live chat?
I don't like when I'm being live chatted while I'm trying to do work, Rob.
Do you get live chatted by ladies?
Unless they say they're ladies. But I fall for it every time.
I would fall for it every time.
Yeah. I mean, one day it'll actually be a lady.
You think they'll send you pictures? I mean, them with their...
Let's move. Look. I love chatting with the viewers.
I'll bet you do.
A lot of them are hilarious. I know so many of their names now by their screen name, which would be very weird if we met in person, like if we had a meet and greet. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Sometimes we get a little bit of a bad seed in there, but we'll take it.
Bad seed.
Yeah.
Well, I think that it does, having that live chat, it does make the community a cohesive place, and you all get to meet each other, and you can bag on us live when we say stupid stuff. It's got to be fun. One day when I'm not on the show, like when it's Ladies' Day, when Aaron and Chris are here, I think I'll have to join in the chat under a fake name. I'll hit on Ray. It'll be fun.
Oh my God.
Garden Variety Vagabond says, so I would guess you can say that the Russians were the first to find new life on Mars. Well, you know what? I am not going to answer that because you haven't seen episode 9 yet. That's
the episode, right?
That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying.
That's the episode.
Let's talk about new life on Mars, buddy. That's all I'm going to say. William Reicher comes back. And William Reicher says, Rob, I want to give you your flowers. Every time John turns it over to you for thoughts on a subject, I get so amped. I sit up in my chair, turn my TV up, spark a J, because I know you're coming with some heat. It really makes me happy to hear you say that. I love the idea that somebody takes, they roll up their dank nugs and they spark a J when I come on to the John Campea Show. I love that. When your OG talk, you listen. I love the Campia Crew. Well, William Reicher, I mean, now I imagine William Reicher in his cabin just smoking a J, blazing up and watching all of us. I love that. But thank you for the very kind words. We here at the Campia Crew, we love our audience. We love you guys. We love feeling the love. And I think that John's put together a pretty fun show. It's kind of, evolved over the last 4 years since I've been here. But I don't think this show has ever been better than it is right now. And what would you say, Ray? How about you, Jonathan? Isn't this show better than it's ever been?
I'd like to say it is, but maybe I'm just biased because now I'm here.
All right. What about you, Ray?
You know what? I would like to point out, Jonathan, before he got here with John, he told me he actually watched a little bit of the show before. So I don't know if you hate it now. Do you hate it now, Jonathan? Do you actually, ever since when I wasn't working for John, I used to watch the show. I'm not gonna lie.
It's a good show.
I would watch the show. But the more, if I'm on staff, I never watch the show unless it's to check something. Like John needs me to check something.
Well, because we live it.
Yeah.
We live it each and every day.
I mean, I have a lot more fun. It goes by. I mean, I can't say the same for Jonathan since he's actually working while we're filming. So it might be a different experience for
I
him.
enjoy myself here.
Yeah.
It's good.
I wouldn't drive the distance I drive to do this if I didn't enjoy it.
Exactly.
I enjoy it every day.
Well, William Reicher, I'm glad you enjoy the show. I'm glad you've been watching for a while. And you know what? I love the fact that now I can think about somebody just lighting up when they see my face on TV, which that makes me happy. So thank you for that, William Reicher. And by the way, Picard Season 3, it's going to be what you want to see. Just saying. Double E says, hi, John and BB Crew. That would be the Batman Beyond crew. Longtime viewer since the AMC movie talk with Dennis and Ashley.
Wow.
That predates me. The Marvel movies release schedule in 2023 will be insane. According to thenumbers.com, Marvel will have 8 movies. Now, of course, that includes Sony. 8 movies in order. Kraven, Ant-Man 3, Guardians 3, SpiderMan Across the Multiverse. Wow. Another Sony Marvel Untitled movie. The Marvels, Madam Web. Wait a minute. They're making a Madam Web movie? And Blade. Plus, in February 2024, an untitled MCU movie, maybe Deadpool. Is this way too much Marvel ever? Thanks, and bring on the filthy. You know what? I would say that that's probably a little much, but it depends how good the movies are. If the movies are great, people will turn out and see them. I don't think, Kraven the Hunter is different than Spider-Man animated movie, is different than this. If the movies are good, I think people will continue to show up. If they're not, they won't go. And it is a bit much, but remember, you've got Sony, and Sony is not really dealing with the MCU, so they're making their movies, the MCU is making their movies, and we'll see. I'll watch them. I'll watch them all. They're like Pokemon. You got to catch them all. But I hope they're good. They have to be good. I don't think people just go to Marvel movies. I mean, I think Thor: Love and Thunder is proving. I don't know where it's at box office wise, but it's not making the kind of money that Ragnarok made. But we'll see where it winds up. Movies got to be good, even Marvel movies. Jeff Yerke, my friend Jeff Yerke, old friend, and his wife, Mrs. Y. Always great to see the two of you, longtime supporters. Thank you so much. I hope you're well. Jeff says, hi, Rob and John. Greetings. Just a quick note to say Mrs. Y and I are loving Hell on Wheels with Anson Mount. It's a wonderful show, The Yerk Man. Well, I've only seen a couple of episodes of that show. It's beautifully made, shot up in Canada. So good Canadian crew making that show. And Anson Mount was great in that show, and it looks fantastic. That show is absolutely beautiful. And you know what? If memory serves, doesn't Marvin Rush shoot that show, the director of photography, who brought a great look to Next Generation and Deep Space Nine? I think he did. I think he was the director of photography on that show. I don't know why I think that, but I think we tried to interview him, but he was busy shooting that show. But yeah, Jeff, Mrs. Y, it's a good show, and I'm glad you're enjoying it. Hope all's well with you, and I look forward to seeing you soon. And that's the end. We end with the Yerk Man. Well, thank you for that. First of all, everyone, I want to thank everybody for generously firing in their tips and questions because you give us interesting things to talk about and you support this wacky channel and this fun bunch here, the Batman Beyond crew on a Friday. I want to thank Jonathan Boyko for being the crack producer that he is. I want to thank Ray Ora for being here just to be here because who doesn't love Ray Ora? And I, of course, am Robert Meyer Burnett. You can find me on Instagram at RMBurnett or find me on Twitter at BurnettRM or find me at postgeeksingularity.com or the YouTube channel of the same name. And remember, if you want your questions answered here on the mailbag, the link is right there. Our crack operatives are scattered all over the world, and they're waiting for you 24/7 to get those very important messages you fire in. Thanks very much from all of us. And remember, bye-bye.